The year is 2024. PBS Plus has just launched, bringing the world's streaming services to 4,387. How can anyone be expected to go through all this content? Fear not, loyal passengers. Captain Joe Shoes and his first mate Mez are here to travel through space and time to bring you the best nuggets pop culture has to offer. Strap in, folks. It's time for the Car JoeMeZ podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 391 of the Car JoeMeZ podcast. I'm Mez. My co-host, as always, is
the magistrate of Caravan City. I am Captain Joe Shoes from the Car JoeMeZ podcast.
Yeah, you are, buddy. What's up? How you doing, bro?
Gomez, if I was doing any better, I'd have to be twins just to handle it. And I know that sometimes that sounds like the kind of thing like a stock response, but I assure you, it is not in this case. I am doing excellent. I am the Earle of Excellence right now. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. Got tons of stuff going on. I've got this very successful, longest running podcast in the history of the universe going. I've got appearances. I've got merch. I've got tons of videos up on youtube.com/Joe Shoes. By the time you're listening to this, I will have reviewed other foods. You should go watch them and subscribe and stuff. That way I can get rich from your views, and then I can go buy like a suit, like a fancy suit.
Nice. Yeah,
like a tuxedo.
Love suit shopping.
I've never owned a tuxedo, never worn a tuxedo.
You never worn a tuxedo? Interesting.
Actually, I guess once at BAC's wedding. That was I guess technically a tuxedo, but I have never, like, I didn't go to prom. I haven't gone through like a 1 or 3 separate marriages at anything. I think at this point we would have assumed, our circle of friends would have assumed I would have gone down the aisle a couple times, and I would have had my own entrance. I don't believe in that shit that the groom just starts at the front. I want a fucking entrance with some theme music, just like when Test and Stephanie got married and they played Test's music, like they're playing the nice wedding music on the violin and stuff, and then it's Test. This is a test. Test.
We should all come out to Test music.
We should all come out to Test music at some point in our lives, Gomez. But thank you guys for listening to the Car JoeMeZ podcast. Remember to smash that subscribe button wherever it is that you're listening to this, or if you're watching on YouTube at youtube.com/@CarJoeMeZpod. Remember to leave us 5-star reviews, like likes, comments, all of that stuff, and follow us on all the social media at Car JoeMeZ. And Gomez, we have a ton to talk about. March Madness sports movies bracket is still going strong. We're talking some round 1 football matchups today. But before we even get into that, let's hit the breaking news music.
Oh, baby. Breaking news. Oh, Joe, what's been going on? What's happening?
Gomez, it was the biggest night of the year for people in the business that we follow.
Yes, it was, baby. Ooh.
That's right. We all had the cheeser from KFC. No, that's not true. Baby. It was the Oscars. The Oscars happened.
We did all have the cheeser.
Have you had the cheeser?
I have, yes. I ran to get it.
Man, I've known you a long time, and I know you ain't running for shit.
But so I drove down the block and I got it, and it was,
and I went through a drive-through, and then I slowly stayed under the speed limit.
Oh, you got to order on the app, baby. Oh, it's the best.
Got to get those points.
Some apps. Get those points. I got something free out there. I got nuggets with it for free. Oh, what a
goddamn right, Gomez.
But the
Oscars took place this past Sunday. We had awards, and I normally come on this program every year and I lambast the Oscars. In fact, if anyone paid attention to my tweets, it could have been me getting called out at the end of the Oscars this year. This year, I didn't get to watch it live. I have gone back and basically watched all the highlights. It seemed once I started paying attention, everyone was having a great time watching this show. So Gomez, I know you were watching. Did my eyes deceive me? Did my level of comprehension lie to me? Were people really having such fun watching the Oscars this year?
Baby, what a show this was. We were loving the Oscars. It was such a good time. You could tell people were having fun. The presenters were having fun. It was loosey-goosey. Everyone was, they killed it. What a great show.
The amount of clips being shared. Normally, I feel like it's very snooty. I feel like the Oscars are very snooty. We only cater to the real hardest of hardcore movie watchers. You know, you have to be a certain level of movie lover to even know what most of the nominated pictures are, or the nominated people are in a given year. This year, while there were still plenty of things that I haven't seen, I feel like I've heard of most things.
Yes. 100%.
And I feel like the Oscars felt a lot more mainstream this year.
100%. If you just look at the list of Best Picture nominees, a lot of these movies are very accessible to people. Usually it's, it played for 2 weeks in Chicago and LA, and you had to go to the city, 3 hours. No, this was Netflix movies, big box office movies that made over $1 billion. I mean, these are movies that people saw this year. So I think that helps.
I mean, right off the bat, I'm seeing videos of like the red carpet with like John Cena shaking hands with The Rock.
Love it.
So do you think he was like, yeah, keep that motherfucker Cody down? You worked that shit, Rock. You think it went like that?
Of course. Cody coming in here taking our shit, bro. You set him straight.
You make sure he never finishes that goddamn story. If you don't stop him, I'll come back and stop him.
Send him back to Jacksonville, boy.
When I picked up finally, one of the first things I saw was a bit between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, where they they reminisce over their times as Batman villains, and then just call out poor Michael Keaton, who just trying to sit there and enjoy the show. And he looks like he wants no part of it.
Bro, they teased this. They like showed it like coming up soon, a reunion you don't want to miss. And they showed a really big dude and a really small. And I'm like, are they teasing a fucking twins reunion at the Oscars? Yup. It was a highlight of the evening, bro. It was so good.
They did bring them together for the State Farm commercial during the Super Bowl this year, which was fun. I had a great time with that. These are two guys who I love together. I love twins. I even like Junior. I'm not going to sit here and say I love Junior, but I like it enough to at least watch it. And they do the whole thing where they call out Keaton. He obviously not going for it. But then he does like the bring it on, like the Rock just bring it hands almost. Yeah. However, Keaton, man, in Mr. Freeze's universe.
Yes, of course. They have different Batmans. I get it, but come on. They can't nitpick here. He's Batman. When you name Batman, you're not naming George Clooney. He's low on
maybe you're not. Maybe you're not. But Arnold got away with calling him a son of a bitch twice.
So good. Well, I mean, he broke his heart. He used his love as his weakness. That's a son of a bitch move if I ever heard of one.
How did he beat you? Oh, he used my only weakness against me. Oh, yeah, what was that? Love. Oh, yeah, he just pushed me out a window. As far as the awards themselves, JoeMeZ, pretty chalk?
Yes and no. I think so. This year, there was lots of different movies nominated and lots of different movies won. And a lot of the categories were such where you had a winner that you were rooting for, but you really couldn't go wrong with the choices. Maybe you don't love Oppenheimer, but you could see why Oppenheimer wins Best Picture. You might have been rooting for something, but it's like, all right, I get it. Same with the actor categories, stuff like that. So it wasn't, I don't think, any top surprise. I get maybe Emma Stone, but I mean, I was rooting for her. I figured she was going to win. She beat the Killers of the Flower Moon lady. Mm-hmm. That was the front runner, but it wasn't like, if you looked at betting odds, not that it's a real Vegas thing, but it was one of these where it's a slight favorite. No one was a monster favorite except for, I would guess, Oppenheimer in the Best Picture category.
Did you think there was anything that was a big underdog victory?
Maybe American Fiction winning Best Adapted Screenplay. I was rooting for it. I caught up on some of these movies this weekend. American Fiction was one of them, and I had a great time with it. So I think that was one that they thought would go somewhere else.
JoeMeZ, I'm going to throw out a phrase here.
Ooh.
I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
I want you to take in it as I say it, and then I want you to give me your reaction when you hear this phrase.
I'm ready.
Academy Award winning Godzilla -1.
Woo, baby. That was that's what I was rooting for. I think most people thought this could be a possibility, but you never know. But boy, it's deserving. Anyone who's seen this movie will tell you it looks amazing. Godzilla's never looked better. And when they came up, they had their little Godzilla figures they brought with them. Oh, it was so good. So good. I wish he did his speech in Japanese.
In Godzilla.
He was fumbling. The guy was fumbling trying to read it in English. I wish he did it and got his moment proper instead of trying to do it in a foreign language. But other than that, it was great to see, bro. So good.
So they brought their Godzilla toys in with them, their
Little
Godzilla
bow ties.
figurines in
Yes.
bow ties.
So good.
Obviously, because the real Godzilla probably wouldn't fit through the front door.
Yeah,
But
can't really do that.
there was justice for another friend in the animal kingdom. JoeMeZ,
baby.
Our double main canine, Messi the dog,
Yes,
was not only there, was not only such a good boy, but that even clapped at one point.
Of course, that's how good he is. That's how good of a boy he is.
What a good dog.
Oh my God. I was ready to boycott the Oscars. I was getting ready to stream Wake Up Ron Burgundy. I said, fuck this. We counter programming the Oscars tonight, son. And then I saw the tweet. Messi is in the house. Apparently. So what they did was they brought him in early. They filmed some stuff with him and then they sent him along his way. So he really wasn't there during the ceremony. Yeah, I know. They kind of pulled the wool over our heads there.
Are you trying to tell me that Hollywood lied to me?
Can you believe it? I would never think that they would do such a thing. But nowadays, you can't trust anyone, can you, Joe?
No one.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Unreal. But we did get a good skit. And I said Jimmy Kimmel playing off Messi would be a great skit. I said that's probably perfect. Jimmy Kimmel can do that stuff. And they had a vignette, JoeMeZ, with Messi walking down Hollywood Boulevard and relieving himself on Matt Damon's star on the Walk of Fame.
That poor Matt Damon. Love it. I love it. That a bit that people even write? Like that's been going on for so long that I bet people don't even it's like not even a thing anymore. The Matt Damon stuff with Jimmy Kimmel there.
I mean, it's legit a decade, more than a decade, probably. Right?
This guy's probably been doing it for 20 years now, right?
I don't even process how long Jimmy Kimmel's had this show.
Right,
but he's been there forever. Like I don't even know. But he's done the Oscar thing a good handful of times now.
4th or 5th time, I believe.
Hosting the Oscars is a big deal.
Yes,
like if you get the call to host the Oscars, you're at the top of your game somewhere. And Jimmy Kimmel getting it 4 times. Remember, it was just Billy Crystal, and Billy Crystal just had a way of being that inviting guy, and he just did it forever. And people were just you know what? Let's just keep going back to Billy. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's how Jimmy Kimmel feels right now. You know what? When in doubt, just go to Jimmy Kimmel.
I think he's a solid host. You don't want too much from him. Comes in, does his couple things, in and out. Good stuff, little bits. I mean, one of the highlights of the night, right? The bit with John Cena, baby. That was great. Come on. Oh, just seeing John Cena at the Oscars. It's so exciting. Look at this boy.
Did you ever think when he was out there promising ruthless aggression that ruthless one day
aggression, 12 rounds, what, the Marine, he's got no business at the Oscars. But now he does, bro, because he's the best.
And he's naked.
It's so good. How can you not show off that body? Come on.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Still got it, John.
And for costuming, it was a really well done bit.
Yes, that's what they did. They centered these fun bits around things that maybe you wouldn't pay attention to normally. Like John Mulaney came out and did a bit that was for sound design, sound editing, something like that. So it's all right, something that you don't care, right? You probably turn the channel, sound editing. I'm not gonna It makes you stay, you laugh, you have a good time. I think it was a home run. I don't know. We'll see how the ratings do. I haven't seen anything yet. It's a little early. They'll probably come out probably right after this podcast. We'll probably get the first round of ratings. But I think it might be good because they were popular movies. I think it might be an increase. Let's see.
And we got 2 segments basically with Ryan Gosling. One is a presenter with Emily Blunt, where they had a little back and forth between Barbenheimer. It was fun. I thought it was nice. And then we get the performance of I'm Just Ken, which was brought the roof down.
Killed it. He fucking went full board. He said, I'm doing it. And he crushed it, bro.
They brought out all the Kens from the movie.
They did bring out the real Kens.
Simu Liu in there.
That
jerk from the Samuel L. Jackson show, Secret Invasion. Who I can't, and I seen his face. And I'm
know. I forget his name.
Like, this motherfucker gets to be on the goddamn Oscars now. I like that fucking Secret Invasion guy. That's like my guy. I'm gonna have like a thing for this guy. Every time he pops up anywhere, I'm gonna like ball up my fist and just wave it in rage.
I hope he's like in one of your favorite movies of all time.
He's gonna be He-Man. Watch him be He-Man.
I love it. Yes, please sign the petition.
Before the Oscars, JoeMeZ, on the red carpet, what a reveal we got.
Ooh.
Vanessa Hudgens.
Yes. When did this happen?
Did this happen? Vanessa Hudgens is pregnant.
What the fuck? She looked great. All of a sudden, boom. Is she married? I don't even remember. Like,
I don't think so. I don't even know who she's dating. So that's when I saw the news, like, oh, Vanessa Hudgens reveals baby bump. I'm like, wait 1 second. Slow it down, because I feel like I normally got my fingers on the pulse of these things, and I'm way off here. I know nothing about this, but she looked absolutely lovely showing off this baby bump.
Yes, she did. She looked cute. The dress was nice. It was good. Did you have any favorite fashion stuff, Joe? Did you pay attention to any of these suits or dresses? Nothing too crazy this year, I feel.
Nothing too crazy. The Ariana Grande photo where people are
goofy,
like, where she brought her comforter out to the couch because there's nothing like comforter on the couch. I thought that was good. I was like, you know what? It's funny because it's true. This is actually what it looks like.
It's funny. They have all these presenters, right? But they're not allowed to like promote what they're doing. So it's like, here's the 2 wicked girls, and they just kind of got to hint that, oh, it's wickedly delightful. And even the Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, they're in a movie called Stuntman. That's why they were talking about stunts before their thing. Like, all these things would make sense. Yeah, right. So, but they're not allowed to promote a movie at the Oscars. It's so funny. It's like, wait a minute, like, why are these people together? Oh, rainbows.
All in all, felt like a very fun Oscar show. I don't know when the last time I felt like that kind of level of enjoyment.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Usually just one incident that people are talking about, something crazy, the wrong picture getting announced, a slap, and shit like that. It's not the show itself like, oh, we had a good time. So what a show. It's good times. I'm happy I watched it.
So now with the Oscars behind us, we can focus on what really matters. New movies.
Yes, the important ones. None
the
of this
movies
Oscar shit.
People like us and people like our passengers, JoeMeZ, want to be able to watch. Like this new movie released this week on Amazon Prime called Ricky Stanicky.
Oh, baby.
Which stars another person who wasn't able to promote his movie at the Oscars, John Cena, and also our good pal Zac Efron.
Yes. We love these two. I thought this was a real movie. Like I remember seeing trailers for it, and I was like, "Oh, there's this John Cena, Zac Efron movie coming out." I'm like, "Oh, I can't wait to go see that." And it just pops up on my Amazon this week. I'm like, "Oh, okay, whoops."
So Cena's been promoting this on social media by opening his own OnlyFans under the name Ricky Stanicky. Yeah. And I had no idea like what that was or why he was doing it. If you go to the OnlyFans, it's a free account. And he's not doing like anything. He'll be like, "Oh, I'm playing with balls," and it's like him
double
with
entendre
balls
stuff,
stuff like that. And so I don't really get it. And then I see, oh, Cena's gonna be in this movie with Zac Efron, so I'm thinking this is a real movie.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I can't wait.
Like I got to go to the theater to see this movie. Apparently, I didn't. So I
No.
didn't. I was able to stay home on my couch with my comforter like
Best.
Ariana Grande and watch it on the television. And it's also directed by Peter Farrelly, who, like, the Farrelly brothers are like legendary comedy directors.
Yes,
So you
they
add
are.
that to Cena, who's a star, Zac Efron, who's a star, and this is Zac Efron's obviously first movie out since Iron Claw, where he's gotten all the accolades now. So he's kind of at peak Zac Efron right now.
Sure.
And I'm going, how is this a streaming movie? Like, does no one want to make money here?
I don't know. I would think people will go see, but maybe not. I don't know. It's a comedy, right? So usually with comedies, these are the things that go straight to streaming. It seems,
and
like
it's an
they don't take
R-rated
chances.
comedy.
Yeah,
but like, I feel like there's enough out there. I mean, we had that Jennifer Lawrence movie last year that it was like, oh, it did pretty well. Like, oh, look at this. Maybe there is room for R-rated comedies again. And then you look at the history of the Farrelly brothers and what they've done, and you're just like, Dumb and Dumber, which wasn't R-rated, but There's Something About Mary. Like, those are like legendary. Two of the biggest comedies of my lifetime, of my generation, you know, growing up. Jim Carrey in this fantastic movie, Dumb and Dumber. And then what I felt like is even a surprise movie, There's Something About Mary, which shocked the shit out of me. Like, the first time I saw it, I don't know if I've ever laughed so hard in a movie theater as when I first saw There's Something About Mary. And now you're telling me all these guys together, their combined forces are on streaming for Amazon Prime. I'm definitely going to watch it. So I did. JoeMeZ, did you happen to watch this movie yet?
Of course. Like I said, I was waiting for it. I was excited for it. So it dropped on Amazon. I'm like, I got Amazon. Let's check this out. Let's go.
So if you guys follow us over on Letterboxd, I'm the Joe Shoes. JoeMeZ, what's your Letterboxd?
I believe it's the JoeMeZ. Maybe 154. I think it's maybe just the JoeMeZ. I don't know.
So you'll see, you know, we're logging our movies as we're watching them. We both caught this movie this week, and I liked it. I was surprised that because now I kind of lower my expectations when I see it's on streaming, right? You know, you're like, oh, maybe this didn't test well or whatever. But the trailer looked kind of fun, and I like Cena and I like Zac Efron, and apparently people like the other guy, Andrew Santino. He's a
very popular comic, yes.
I think the biggest thing, like when I looked at his history, there's nothing I really knew him from. I mean, he was in The Disaster Artist, but I've never seen that, so I don't even know how big his part is. But he's from the TV series Dave.
He's on Dave. He's the best friend on Dave. He has a very popular podcast, I believe. Don't know the name of it, but he has a podcast. I see clips on it because he's a very distinct looking guy with his fucking red hair and shit. So he stands out. So I see podcast clips with Bobby Lee. He does like a podcast with that guy. And then I see he has like a Netflix special came out last year or something. I didn't watch it.
I don't really like stand-up comedy. It's not something I ever seek out. More times than not, I often leave disappointed. I like situational humor. That's why I like comedies and sitcoms and movies. And so if you tell me, oh, he's a really big stand-up comic, what do I know him from? I'm not going to know you from your stand-up unless you're someone like Matt Rife, who was just swarmed and pushed on. He was like the Roman Reigns push on suggested social media, where they just shoved him down your throat until he did this Netflix special. And then you watch it and you go, oh, so it really is only crowd work he can do. And now we've moved on from Matt Rife. He's never been in our suggested posts since then.
I gotta be honest with you. I haven't seen those clips pop up anymore. What happened?
Nope.
That's funny.
But I go into this movie, and the movie's about some childhood best friends who do something bad, and they blame it on this other quote-unquote friend who doesn't exist. And then when they end up getting away with it, they use this non-existent friend as the excuse for why things continue to happen. And they always blame Ricky Stanicky. And that's where John Cena comes into the fold, and hilarity ensues, depending on your opinion. JoeMeZ, I gotta be honest, I had a lot of fun with this movie. I had several laugh out loud moments throughout it. Do I think it's going to go down as a comedy legend? Probably not. It's definitely a movie I would watch again, though, at some point down the line.
Yes. So John Cena is just like he's just like the best thing in the world. He is so good in this movie. Anytime he's on screen, the movie is great. So when I'm watching the movie, I'm having a great time because John Cena, once he comes in the movie, he's there for the whole. He's the main character, and I'm just having fun with him. John Cena can do no wrong in my eyes. This man is so good. He's so funny. I'm sad that they wasted all this time trying to make him this action, so serious action star. When, bro, you should have been doing comedies all this time.
When they cut to his side gig of dressing
Nothing
up
better,
like
bro.
80s stars and turning their songs into songs about masturbation because
So
he
good.
realized that was an underserved market. And then they actually show him performing this. I'm like, I need this album.
I need this CD, bro.
Is this on
Where's
Spotify?
The vinyl? Where's the vinyl? Let's go. It's so good. Oh, so I'm saying shit like that is funny. Him coming to the airport fucking sober and he's struggling, bro. Fucking hilarious. He is hilarious. I don't know. I've seen most of the reviews for this movie are terrible, Joe. People
I've seen
are
up and down.
hating this movie. I see like lots of 2s and 1s, and I'm just like, it's not great, but I had enough laughs where, what else am I asking
definitely
for?
worth it. Like, I don't want to say I'm laughing start to finish. I think the movie's a little long. In all honesty, the movie clocks in
2 hours, bro.
An hour 53. Yeah,
it's a little much.
IMDb has it at a 6.2, Rotten Tomatoes 47%, but an audience score of 72%.
Okay, people enjoying it. Yeah.
So there's that divide between the critics and the audience. I personally, there's enough in the movie to make it enjoyable for me and make it worth the watch. When it was over, I didn't think it was the greatest thing in the world, but by no means that I feel like I wasted my time.
They wrote this movie 15 years ago. It's been just bouncing around from people to people, and it finally landed. When you watch the movie, if this came out in 2008, 2009, right? Like this is like hangover season. Like this is perfect kind of R-rated, raunchy adult comedy there. Something we don't get pretty much at all. We don't get that raunchy adult behavior like that. It's good to see.
Yeah, guys, let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube what you thought of Ricky Stanicky, or on our Facebook group, which is free. Just simply search Car JoeMeZ Podcast. Join the group. Come in for the conversation. Let us know what you thought about Ricky Stanicky. Gomez and I would say 1.5 thumbs up. Probably give it a triple main man. I don't think it's like the most amazing thing. Yeah, I laughed enough though where it was worth it to me.
I feel the same way. I'm not laughing like he said for the 2 hours straight, but there's enough stuff, especially John Cena doing his thing is well worth. Jizz Jams, I think, is worth it alone.
Yeah,
I think everyone should watch this movie for Jizz Jams. Period. Fucking so good, bro. Air Dickin', come on, bro.
That Air Dickin' scene and watching like one of the great character actors of our time, William H. Macy. And John Cena, like, first off, the explanation of, look at him, man, he's air dicking, and then taking it to this guy who now he's got to sell it like, none of you guys told me? I've been air dicking all this time? Get me old footage.
It's so good, bro. So I'm saying it's some laughs in here. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gomez, that's going to bring us to this week's round of the March Madness sports movie bracket. We are in the football region this week, discussing 2 high school football classics, Friday Night Lights from 2004 and Varsity Blues from 1999. Only 5 years difference between them, but substantially different tones for the film.
Oh, definitely. Yes, definitely. Oh, let's start with Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights runs an hour and 58 minutes. Released in 2004. So like I said, we're on the 20th anniversary of this movie, based on the book by Buzz Bissinger, who it's based on a true story. He profiles the economically depressed town of Odessa, Texas, and their heroic high school team, the Permian High School Panthers. And this is chronicling the team over the 1988 season. IMDb gives it a 7.2, Rotten Tomatoes 82% fresh, an audience score of 85%. So pretty good scores.
Pretty even, yeah.
Domestically brought in $61.2 million on a budget of $30 million. So good performance. came in 49th for the year in 2004, just behind Big Fish was in front of it at number 48.
Ooh.
And right behind it at number
Underworld.
no, close, you're not far off. Hellboy.
Oh, damn.
Hellboy was right behind it at number 50. And as we've said in the past, because we've already taken a look at 2004, number one that year was Shrek 2, which was an absolute monster.
Shrek 2 being re-released for the 20th anniversary. Goddamn.
So this movie stars Billy Bob Thornton as the coach of the Permian Panthers, Coach Gary Gaines. And other than that, there's basically no one you ever heard of in this movie aside from Amber Heard. And it's not because of what she did in this movie.
What are you talking about? We got the guy from Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, bro. What's his name? Josh Lucas or something like that? Some shit? What's that guy's name? That's not Josh Lucas. That's the other guy. Damn, what's this boy's name? Now I don't remember his name. So, yeah, we don't know him.
So you've seen this movie before, correct?
Of course, yes. Of course. So in the movie theaters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like going to the movie theaters. This was a big movie, Billy Bob Thornton's a big movie star at the time.
So what were your impressions back then and how they total up now?
Oh, I remember leaving the theater very happy. Like it was good. Like it's a very good movie. It's very football oriented. Like it's very like you get the whole season. You get the ups and the downs. Like it's a good movie. If you want to see a football movie, I think this is one of the better ones to show you football, as a sport. And then rewatching it, I probably haven't rewatched it in 10, 15 years. So it's been a long time. I remember the basics of it, but not the full story. And I still enjoyed it. I still thought it was a great movie here. A lot of fun.
Obviously, I've seen Varsity Blues, which we'll talk about in a bit. But it's more of a caricature of a football movie where this is going for a sense of realism and has a much more serious tone to it. And what I can't get over, and this goes back to just how I grew up, I cannot believe that so many people care so deeply
high school football. It's crazy
about high school sports.
So crazy, bro. Of all things, college is one thing. High school.
It's so impossible for me to wrap my mind around it because growing up in the city, in New York City, there's no such thing as people who even go to high school games unless you're their parent, like your kid is on the team. It's basically the equivalent of youth soccer. And even then, you're still trying to carpool with other moms and dads so you don't have to go to every game.
I believe it, bro. It's the truth.
Now, we have a friend in our group, John Delana, has been a long-time listener, and he was a recruited high school football player. And he actually wrote to us in the group this week saying, like, what you see is really how things are for these towns.
It's crazy.
Like a couple weeks ago, we talked about the recruiting process for Jesus Shuttlesworth and He Got Game. And like, where they're putting the girls in front of you. And I'm like, this rules. Like, I would love this. Like, I want to be that guy. John was basically that guy. And, like the cops are letting you off the hook because they follow the team. They want the team to do. I just can't imagine being a fully grown adult, a police officer or some pillar of the community and being like, oh, this 16-year-old really needs, we got to slide this one under the rug because we really need to beat, I don't know, 115th Street High over there. I cannot believe that there are places in the world where this is a real thing. I'm sorry. I know, like, I'm very territorial about this right now, and I'm really limiting the audience, but it just makes no sense whatsoever to me that this is all people have to look forward to. The people who went to this school 30 years ago were still like, man, I hang my hat every day on Permian high school football. What is wrong with your life? Go visit, go on a vacation, go do something.
It's insane. Whole town shuts down. Could you imagine the whole town shutting down because John Adams got a football game? What? What?
And what gets me, as I'm watching this movie, I find every single character in this movie to be an absolute jerk off piece of shit.
Oh my
I
goodness.
hate every single character,
Oh my
every
goodness.
parent, every coach, every teacher, every cop, everything in this movie. I'm like, you are all fucking shitbags. From the way that guy's grabbing his son, the son's in practice,
Yes.
and he's just running, Tim McGraw running onto the field.
Slap this
grabbing-
fucking guy. Get the fuck off my field, bro.
Just
Get
because,
the fuck out of here.
just because your life sucks. Just because you've had nothing to live for, nothing to be excited about since high school, don't blame your kid. Your kid's out there. Wow, it's fucking. I know when you're an athlete, and I played high school sports, and I did get recruited to a certain extent, not to where I was like getting flown out places and having Jill Kelly and Chasey Lane thrown in front of me, which would have been nice. If we could ever get that time machine working, Professor Frank, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But high school sports is still so fun, and you take it seriously when you're on the team, and when you're a parent, you take it seriously because it's something that means a lot to your kid. So you don't want to discount the feelings or the emotions that they put into it, but at the same time, you hope they have a little bit of perspective about where it stands with all the other things they have going on in life. Like, this is just one thing that they do. For these people to have nothing else, you're still so far away from anything remotely resembling putting food on the table due to this game. Like, big fucking deal. Like, you beat fucking Fresh Meadows High School. Who, like, at the end of the day, is that going to make your life that much better? And yes, if you're on the team, I get it. It's a big deal. You want to win your championship. You want people to notice you. You want to do a good job. But for the entire town, that this is all that, I'm sorry. This is horrible, and it's not good for the kids. A lot of these kids will never play football again after this. A lot of these kids do not go on. I think even
Billy Bob says it in one of the speeches. He does say,
yes.
He's like, this is the last time a lot of you are going to play football at this level.
You know, at least let them have some sense of enjoyment from playing the game that they've loved ever since they were young or ever since they were kids. And it just feels like there is no one in this movie who still has the joy of playing sports. And that is so fucking sad to me. I couldn't hate this movie anymore. Like, and I get it's supposed to be like, oh, this tale of the coach and working with an undersized, under-talented team. But I'm like, look at these fucking people. If you're this coach and you move into town and I get it. Like, obviously it means a lot to him. It's his job. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yes.
But I look at these parents, man, and I'm just like, you don't deserve to have kids. You don't.
A lot of people don't.
The player, the running back, Boobie Miles, he's going to be the hot shot running back. He's going to go scholarship, big time, all this. Shreds his leg and wants to keep playing. And now I understand 1988 is a different time than today.
Totally different.
In terms of what we can do medicinally, how far surgeries have come. A torn ACL is basically a career ender at any level back then. Yes. So he's trying to make it to the point where he can still play and he'll be fine and all this because he needs to cash in that scholarship. He needs to get out of town, or he thinks he's going to be a pro one day. And his uncle, who I guess is his guardian, bringing him back and forth to all these games, is doing him no favors because he's like, boy, you need to be playing that football.
That's it.
And
you know that happens. You know it.
I know it happens. It doesn't make it right. And with things like this, there is it's so black and white to me that there is right and wrong in here. And the uncle's like, nope, yeah, I'm all good with this. He's fine. And the coach is just like, well, that's all I needed to hear. Get back in the game, Boobie Miles. Ruin yourself even further. Maybe you won't even get to walk again in 5 years. Who knows?
All right. I get it. Wasn't expecting it, but I get it. Okay.
I by the time this movie ended, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe so many people have so many good things to say about this movie. because I find everyone involved to just be a horrible human being.
But why does that have to matter in the movie? It's a movie about horrible people.
Because I'm going into a sports movie like I go into a sports game. There's got to be a baby face and a heel. I want someone to cheer for. Whereas Varsity Blues, we'll see, it gives us the baby face and the heel paradigm. We don't get that here. To me, everyone is the heel. Everyone is the heel. And at the end of this movie, where it's like this person flamed out, I go, I don't even fucking feel bad for you. I don't feel bad for anyone. All of you brought this upon yourselves, and your parents fucking did it to you because they think there's nothing more important in the world than fucking high school football in Odessa, fucking Texas. And then when you go back, and I haven't read the book, but there's several instances of racism and racial slurs towards the black players on this team that is documented in the book. But when the producers asked the actual Permian High School to use their facilities for authenticity for the movie, the school agreed only if all the racism stuff was left out, because they didn't want to portray a negative image on the school or the town. And I'm like, you didn't even need the racism to make me feel negative about your town and negative about your school. But now let's throw that on top of it. And once again, 1988, a lot different than 2024.
Sure, still.
But still, like, we're not in the middle of the civil rights movement in 1988.
Yeah, it's still not good. Oh, wow. Okay, Joe. Was all right. I wasn't expecting all that. Whew, boy. All right. Well, our next movie, I think we'll have a.
Do you get it? Like what I'm saying?
No, yes, yeah. I said that. I get it. I did. I said I wasn't expecting it, but I get it. Yeah, they're all terrible people. To me, I don't really care. But I understand you're coming at a different angle. You want that baby face. I got you. The team is the baby face, but you're not rooting for any of the players. I got you.
I'm not rooting for anyone on this team. The people I'm rooting for do not get featured. There's probably like the center on the offensive line is probably like a 4.0 GPA, like raising his little sister, maybe had a parent die of cancer, and he's working a side job to pay, for his gas. That way he could drive and go on dates here. Like, he's probably a great dude, but I ain't cheering for him because I don't know anything about him.
Well, I have a feeling you were cheering for a bunch of these characters in this next movie, Joe. I just have a hunch. Varsity Blues. Let's see how this one fares, Joe.
So Varsity Blues 25th anniversary,
Woo!
1999, an hour and 46 minutes. This felt like a big teen movie at the time. We were kind of in like a little teen renaissance at this time. Really, for me, it felt like kind of Scream was like the precursor for that era. Sir. But for the kind of family friendly or teen centric stuff, feels like a year before, 1988, with Can't Hardly Wait was really, then we kind of went into overdrive during 98, 98, 99, and 2000, really kind of juicing up the movies geared toward teens. And this movie is right kind of smack dab in the middle of that. IMDb gives it a 6.5, Rotten Tomatoes a 45% fresh, with an audience score of 76. So obviously a big discrepancy there.
Big difference, yeah.
Budget of $16 million, brings in 52.8 domestically at the box office.
Smash it.
Number 43 overall domestically in the year of 1999. Behind number 42, Forces of Nature.
Oh, Forces of Nature.
That was the Affleck movie, correct?
Yeah. And I'm trying to think of the one behind. What's a 99 movie? I'm trying to think of something like Ashley Judd movie.
You're not getting this.
Like, what?
You're not far off with the Ashley Judd, It's Kevin Costner. I don't know who the actress is in it, but it's Message in a Bottle at number 44.
Oh,
1999, obviously a big anniversary year right now, 25th anniversary, and JoeMeZ, the most famous one, was number 1 overall that year domestically. It is
99. Is it Men in Black? I don't know. What the
No,
fuck
come on. You're going to kick yourself if you don't get
I
this.
probably will. Met 99 because I get all my dates confused here.
JoeMeZ, there's a very big 25th anniversary celebration for this film happening now because we have retconned it into thinking it was great this entire time.
Oh, is this Phantom Menace?
The Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 1.
Yes.
Brought in $430.2 million in 1999.
People lined up for weeks. Do people understand? People went to a movie theater, put up a fucking tent a month before a movie came out. What the fuck? Like, that's just craziness to me.
Remember, we got those really good Triumph the Insult comic dogs where he would go down the line of Star Wars fans and the guy would be in a Darth Vader suit. He'd be like, hey, which one of these buttons calls your mom to come pick you up?
All time right there, bro. So good.
And then he'd go to the guy in the Stormtrooper outfit. He'd go, hey, what are you supposed to be? And the guy goes, I am a Stormtrooper. And Triumph goes, you are a huge nerd. See, that was back in the days where we can make fun of nerds and it was fine. Nowadays, this is the cool shit. Everybody loves Star Wars. It's not the same. But think about even then, from 1977 to 1999, 21 years had passed since the very first Star Wars movie, A New Hope, to Phantom Menace. And at that point, from Return of the Jedi in 83 to 99 to get Phantom Menace, for some people it felt like an eternity. Like, oh my God, are we ever going to see it? It's been 25 years since Phantom Menace now.
Crazy, bro. That is crazy. Oh my God.
But we're back to Varsity Blues. What is this movie about? Well, IMDb says a backup high school quarterback leads a Texas school football team to victory after the star QB is injured.
Yeah, that's it.
Very basic. Doesn't give a lot away.
That's the story.
That's basically, that's pretty much it. We got James Vanderbeek as Johnny Moxon. He's big at the time.
Hot at the moment. Dawson Leary,
this is Dawson's Creek at its hottest. That first season of Dawson's Creek hits in, I think, 97. And all those kids are immediate stars.
Huge stars, yep.
We get Paul Walker, who plays Lance, the star quarterback. Scott Kahn, who I think you and I would agree is best known from Ready to Rumble.
Yes, sir.
He's here playing Tweeter, the eccentric wide receiver. John Voight is our coach, Bud Kilmer.
Yes, sir. Oh, love Bud.
And we get two girls who, in the moment, were fixtures of these kinds of movies, and they were the hot girls in all the movies. We get Amy Hart, who plays Jules, and Allie Larder, who plays Darcy. And I think it's very safe to say that Allie Larder has the most iconic scene of the movie, the most iconic scene of her career. This is her debut film. And she does this whipped cream bikini scene, which becomes iconic overnight.
Oh, yes. Parody beyond belief. Any chance you get, it's something to make fun of. Yep. His film history right there. Craziness to think about. Like,
so there's a lot of tongue-in-cheekness to this movie. Like I said, this is more over-the-top characters than our first movie, which is meant to be very serious. One of the things that stands out to me from the very beginning is Mox's little brother, Kyle. Like, the opening scene is him with, tied to a crucifix and talking about how he wants to die. And the mother is just like encouraging him, like, oh, Kyle, that's so cute. At one point, he brings a bunch of other kids to the house. The father's like, hey, who the fuck are these kids? And he's like, these are my people. He's like, what do you mean your people? It's like, my people. And the mother comes over while she's cooking dinner. She's like, Kyle, did you start a cult? And he's like, yes, ma'am. And she's like, oh, that is so cute. And I'm just like, it's this background storyline that's not getting much attention. But this kid is fucking popping the shit out of me whenever they do something with him.
It is. It's a great way to start the movie. Once the movie starts, you see the tone right away. Like, all right, we're gonna have some fun with this movie. Like, we're gonna, there's serious stuff that goes on in the movie, but everything is played with a little silliness behind it.
So once again, the coach is an asshole in this movie. And we get the whole high
Sure.
school sports thing, how much it means to the town, how much it means to the parents who played on the team 15, 20 years ago. And now their kid gets to play for the same coach that they played for. And what an honor it is to play for such an incredible high school coach like Bud Kilmer. Once again, one of these things where I go, listen, coaching is a noble profession. And some people are really good at that. At the high school level, not really everyone is a good coach.
No.
I've had
not
good
at all.
coaches. I've had some bad coaches. I mean, what do you got to do to be a high school coach? Pass a class?
Oh, yes, nothing. Please, a high school coach. They ask you, they volunteer. Hey, do you want to do
I was going to
this?
say a lot of times you're just a volunteer. For this guy, I mean, when in my high school, we had this guy, Jack Curran, who was renowned for being a legendary basketball and baseball coach, and he won this many hundreds of games. I was like, this is an old man who just sat in an office in a high school for 50 years. I guess that's the equivalent of teaching, but with,
I guess.
like a 50-year career as a teacher. Yeah, I guess that's good. I just look at it as when you're in sports, the job description is to always get better, to always improve. I don't see getting a job at 25 and then being in the same position 30, 40 years later. And listen, who am I to say what makes these people happy, right? You like the school, you have, your certain amount of freedom, you know what you can do, you know where you live, you like where you live, your family likes it here. So whatever. I just look at it and I go, if you're coaching the same high school, for me, I would want more.
Yeah, I get it. You want, but I guess at the same time, you don't want maybe a job for life. You got that job locked down. You don't got to worry.
Like, how much are you really making as a high school football coach? Like, if a college comes calling and they say, hey, you've been doing a real good job at this high school, we'd love to have you come on and be an assistant with us, and you continue to work your way up. Like, I don't know, but like, that's why
I get it. Yes.
feel like you get into
that's the way
sports. If
Yes.
I'm a social studies teacher, I'm not always looking to move up to become principal.
Sure.
I think there's a differentiation there. If I'm a math teacher, guess what? I'm probably going to be teaching math for a really long fucking time. I better really love that fucking math.
What if you just like teaching young men?
I'm
to mold them.
No, and I get it. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of things that go into it, but I just don't I don't feel like that's what you get into sports for. And especially if high school football is this serious in the state of Texas.
Maybe that's why. Like that's that's a good job to have if it's that serious.
It probably is a good job to have, but now you've been the football coach for a long time. You've won 2 state championships. You don't want to go and win, be the defensive coordinator for Texas Tech?
I get it. Yes, that's true. Especially if you stay
or
in the
Abilene
town.
State. This movie falls right in the time period of when it's released. It's a very good kind of representation for the feeling of the era of what society was like. There's a lot of like obnoxiousness, the extremeness, like with the kind of shit you see in the Woodstock documentaries, the fucking guys going out.
Like
it's this teen angst where we didn't know what we were mad about, but we knew we were mad about something and we were going to up the levels on everything. And the way that sexual assault is treated in this movie, I remember seeing this movie in theaters and I probably laughed at it. In all honesty, I'm 17. I probably thought it was funny. But then as I'm watching it now and this scene, like I wasn't remembering it in the moment. And then Tweeter is sitting there on the bench with Mox and he's like, you give him 1 Vicodin, 1 Percocet, and 2 beers, and the panties come on. And I'm just like, holy shit, like we're making jokes about fucking rape? Like, holy shit.
Yes, that's how people talk. Like that was just.
And, for 25 years, like, thankfully, we've come to a place where like that isn't acceptable communication.
Times are very, very different. And like you said, this is definitely a time capsule movie. 100%. This is a product of its time, which I think makes it great. I think that's what makes it stands out because of that.
And I think so too. I'm still entertained by this movie because it does act as that time capsule. It does capture the attitude and the feelings of the era in this movie, in this film. And I think there's a lot of stuff that's in the movie that I still enjoy, the scene where Mox takes everyone out to the strip club and we get Billy Bob doing
Best.
a tan, a
The
fucking tan.
Fucking tan. It's the best.
Ms. Davis,
Ms. Davis.
it was topical. It was erotic. I give it a 9.5. I still got wood.
It's great.
You know, there are little things in the movie where I still laugh. I still chuckle. So there's enough entertainment for me where I'm still enjoying the movie. But just like something like the date rape joke, I'm like, ooh, that doesn't, not just didn't age well, that shouldn't have been well at the time.
It's just like a throwaway line, like, oh, we just be drugging these girls. What's up, guys?
So we've lost 3 cast members to this movie already. Ron Lester, who played Billy Bob, passed away in June 2016. Paul Walker, obviously, was in a car accident and passed away in November of 2013. It's insane to think it's even that long ago already.
That was 2013. Oh my God. That's wow. Holy shit.
And Joe Pickler, who plays the little brother Kyle, is not officially dead. This is an interesting story.
What the fuck is going on?
He's been missing since January of 2006. So 18 years now. He's been missing. His car was found somewhere. He drove off. He left a note saying he wished he could be a better brother. But they said it doesn't sound like a suicide note from the reports that I read. But no body, has ever been recovered. It's just still a missing persons case. So for 18 years, the guy who played this little brother Kyle has been just missing.
That's fucking wild, bro. That's crazy. Wow.
Like, I had to read as I was doing my research. I come across this and I'm like, wait 1 sec. Did I really read what I just thought that was? And then I had to look into it a little further. And yeah, I didn't think stuff like that still happened.
That's wow. I guess that's probably like the end of it, right? Before everything got a little too easy to find someone. But
I mean, but 2006, we all had cell phones and stuff, and they even tracked his cell phone and said like they know when his last call was and who it was, but it was like a 4 a.m. call. So the friend who picked it up was like half asleep, and I don't even remember what we talked about.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh
wow, that is fucking crazy. Damn, that sucks. That's your boy. He was talking about how much you loved him, and he said, "I had enough of this."
His cult left him, and he didn't know what else was out there.
Imagine that. He's just living in his cult, like in his cult community. Maybe he's alive and well. Maybe.
Well, I hope so, and I hope
like
one day his family gets a little closure on that. I would hate to go through that, man, and just not know.
Yes, you just want to know either way.
Either way, JoeMeZ, any moments of this movie that still stand out for you? This is a movie I feel like both of us have seen so many times over the years.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. The performances are great. You know, Dawson is killing it in this movie. You know, he was in Dawson's Creek, so you know, it's like he's whiny and stuff. Like he's not like he's like, oh, I could be a leading man. I could be a little tough guy every once in a while. And it was good to see. I like the way they shoot the football scenes. The montages are fun. I think it's a great football movie. It's another.
I think that's a good point because when we were talking about the basketball movies a couple weeks ago, we said we felt like they weren't able to capture, especially Blue Chips, weren't able to capture the intensity of the actual sport itself. Here, I feel like we do get in there, you know, with the running back Wendell, and whenever Mox has the ball, you know, it feels like we're in the middle of this game, right? And yes. I think we all have the feeling that we know what's going to happen, that eventually he's going to come out on top and get to go take his scholarship and go to Brown University. But it still kind of keeps us in suspense.
Bring back the Friday Night Lights. How do you feel about that ending, right? You don't get that happy ending, you know, that you would normally get. Yeah,
because I
like how they give you the false finish. You get the touchdown. You're like, oh, and then there's a flag. I think that's great. I think that's a great part of the movie.
I for certain assumed, okay, and here it is, and they come back and win, and this guy's dad is all of a sudden gonna love him again. Yes, and
you did it,
I
son.
For certain thought that was you're a champion just like me now, boy. And then they don't give it to you, and I was taken aback. I genuinely was taken aback by that.
Because it's true. You get used to it. You know, it's like, oh, of course. You know, every once in a while you get that swerve where the team don't win, it's good. I like that. You need that every once in a while.
Now, one thing we haven't mentioned is one of the all-time great movie lines in this movie, the classic, "I don't want your life."
Yes, sir.
Delivered, I mean, horribly.
It's
But
just so funny. It's such a funny scene. People clowned on that scene for years. And it's just so
it was
over
a
the
meme before
top, and the
memes.
voice. Yes, that was the thing we just constantly made fun of.
I read something somewhere recently, someone had sent it to me, where it was like kids these days don't understand what it was like to grow up with memes. We had one Adam Sandler movie, and those quotes had
Yep.
to last us for 5 years.
All the time, bro. So stop staring at me, Swan. Just like for no reason. Just like here's
There it
some
is.
music here.
Yeah, let's hit this
Yeah.
music. Are you a man? A double main man? Are you a man? A triple main man? A man? A quadruple main man? Are you our man? Are you our man?
All right, baby. The football bracket. Let's see who's moving on to take on Remember the Titans. Will it be Friday Night Lights or Varsity Blues? Let's see, Joe. Friday Night Lights. What do you think here?
Friday Night Lights. Listen, not a fan. I went in with high hopes because I had heard a lot about it. I know a lot of people like it. I know JoeMeZ likes it. I'm sure I'm going to hear it from a bunch of people this week. Like, oh my God, you can't like this movie. I just found myself unable to cheer for literally every single person in this movie, and it ruined the movie for me. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 1.5 main man.
Woof. That is just so crazy. Yeah, I like this movie a lot. I think it's one of the best football movies. Like, when we're looking at the football movie list, I feel when it comes to a movie that portrays football in all its ups and downs, its glories, and its not so good stuff, I think Friday Night Lights does a great job at that. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 main man. This is it's a good movie, but you're the outlier here. I feel like
I know I am.
I think most people give it a 3. I don't know if everyone loves it, but I think most people be like, yeah, it's a good ass movie. It's good. Now Varsity Blues. Now this we know. This is our shit here, Joe. What's the official ranking here?
It goes without saying that this was obviously the movie I voted for this week, Varsity Blues.
Sure.
I'm a bit taken aback sometimes when I watch stuff where I was a similar age, and Varsity Blues checks that box for me. I was about the same age in my life when this movie came out as the characters in this movie. And yeah, that was the mentality a lot, like not the football centric stuff, because I didn't play high school football in Texas, but like the attitudes, the way you were with your friends, the shirts that James Vanderbeek is wearing like to class and stuff were like these pullover long sleeve knit. And I used to have like a ton of those from Old Navy that I wore from like 98 to like 2001. I had probably half a closet full of them, in all different colors and designs and stuff. So I'm like, oh my God, like I remember like this is how I dressed and this is how I acted. And yet then I see something like this date rape sequence, which is not like you're not actually getting, there is no actual rape. It's conversation about it.
Throwaway line kind of.
And to think that like that was like an acceptable part of how we spoke at the time.
It's the culture, yeah.
And how it was like that takes me back, and I'm like, wow, like there's obviously some things that I'm not proud of having said or having done. And thankfully, I'm like, thank God I never got to that point where I was fucking dropping fucking Vicodins and fucking perks in people's drinks. Thank God I was never that guy. The shit that I've done is minuscule on top of what the kind of shit Charlie Tweeter's done. So like, it's one of those things where I'm like, oh fuck, like thank fucking God for that. Once I can take myself outside of that one specific scene, I still think there's a lot to enjoy about this movie because of the unseriousness compared to Friday Night Lights in this movie.
Yes.
There's a lot more levity, a lot more fun to be had with these characters. Billy Bob, which once again, the concussion thing is completely different
So good.
now.
Yes.
Like, Jesus Christ. And on top of that, Lance Harbor should have never gotten hurt, because once Billy Bob falls off the line, the whistle should have blown, the play should have blown dead, and the ball shouldn't have been snapped. I just wanted to point that out because it's something I think about. I liked this movie then when I saw it. I've liked this movie in repeats. It was a big cable movie for a long time, and I still enjoyed myself watching this movie today. I'm going to give it a 3.5 main man.
Ooh, baby, yes. Yeah, this movie's great. This is our movie. We love this movie. We talk about it all the time and reference it. It's one of our movies. Growing up, this was huge. It was, you couldn't avoid it, and I still enjoy it. Sure, it's got some questionable things. Of course, lots of our movies have questionable things.
Yeah.
It's like, it's, you know, movies from the 80s, the 90s. I'm like, oh, I want to show Shiloh this. I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should wait a little. Maybe some of that language. Monster Squad is a little rough. Some of the language in that movie. You know, so it's like, we can't really show that yet.
Like, one of the movies I watched when a lot, like, we've talked about it before too, RoboCop. Like, imagine being 7 years old and watching RoboCop. Like, what?
Crazy.
And I feel like I feel like almost that movie was for kids, you know, and then they end up making the animated series definitely geared toward kids. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna sell these RoboCop toys. Here, he's gonna shoot you in the dick.
Gonna shoot your dick off. God bless RoboCop, the fucking best. Varsity Blues. I'm gonna give it.
Upset? I'm sorry. Are you upset RoboCop didn't come out and wish Sting well for his retirement?
It's very, you know, I expect better from Tony Khan. You know, you got the money. You're supposed to be this fanboy.
Yeah,
what are you doing, bro?
RoboCop?
Come on. Varsity Blues. I'm gonna give it a 4. Quadruple main man.
Okay.
So it seems both of us have voted for Varsity Blues, and that's a good thing, because I think 3 people maybe voted last I checked for Friday Night Lights. I mean, we haven't had a lot of close ones, but this was the worst beating of them all. This was.
I thought the Mighty Ducks would have been bigger.
No, there was a couple stragglers for this. This was really sad looking. Like, right as soon as I put the poll up, it was like 10-0 right off the bat. You know it's not going to be good. Oh, well,
at least for us, this is the first time we've been on the winning side.
Yes, sir. So we're gonna go on to our last first round matchup. I'm thinking this one. I think this is gonna be our closest one to date. I think here, Joe. We got Major League taking on Bull Durham. I think this one is gonna be pretty close.
I think it's going to be an age factor a lot. Bull Durham, a few years older than Major League, was kind of Major League before Major League. So I think it's going to come down to how you feel about it from the nostalgic sense, how soon in life you saw either one, maybe which one you saw first.
Very true. That's good. Bull Durham is on Amazon Prime and Tubi. And when I look at Major League, it says Max, but it's one of those Prime channels. So I don't know if it's really on Max or it's this add-on thing. So I'm not sure if Major League is free to watch for you fine folks. You might have to spend your $2.99 on VOD for that one. That's good. Joe, this is our last first round matchup. So that means we also have to get the second round going here, baby boy.
Already?
Yes. So we also will be voting this week on Blue Chips and Hoosiers. Back to the basketball division. What are we gonna have here? It's gonna be interesting because Hoosiers is the movie, right? That's the big sports basketball movie when people talk.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's an age thing though, right?
Hoosiers was big in the 80s, if I remember correctly. And at one point was big enough to where you could buy the VHS at McDonald's as like, like $2.99. I don't know. Like when Wayne's World, I got my copy of Wayne's World at McDonald's. And I want to say, I don't think there was another movie that was like in tandem with that. Maybe it wasn't Hoosiers, but then it had to be earlier before, because Hoosiers comes out in 86. So I can't imagine that would have came out the same time as Wayne's World for McDonald's. But definitely you could get a copy of Hoosiers at McDonald's for a while. And this is, if you're looking for Hoosiers, this is showing on AMC Plus.
Ooh, there you go. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. I'm excited to get to that second round also. I'm excited to maybe have a close matchup in baseball, and then let's see how the second round shapes up. Ooh,
yeah, I definitely think the baseball one is going to be the closest out of all the first round matchups here.
Very excited. All right, Joe. We got an action-packed episode for you next week.
But before we get there, Gomez, we got to finish up this week.
Yes, we do, baby. Let's hit some music. It's now time for the big finish. It's big finish time. You know we love spinning this wheel. So let's spin it. What do we got here? Okay, folks. We've landed on Fuck, Marry, and Kill. Today, Joe, we're doing the Chris's. Chris Pine, Chris Evans, and Chris Hemsworth. We're not doing Pratt because we know we killing that motherfucker. So we leaving him off the list. Pine, Evans, Hemsworth. This is going to be interesting. I'm right off the bat, I feel maybe I want to marry Chris Pine, right? Like he seems like the one I want to hang out with. He seems to be the most fun. Not that Chris Evans and Hemsworth aren't fun. I don't know. It's very this is tough. This is gonna be tough.
Pine to me is the one you fuck.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. You wouldn't want to fuck one of the muscle boys?
No.
Like,
I want to be the strong one.
I love you.
Pine to me is just like so irreverent and kind of unserious that I can see I feel like I could have a good night with Chris Pine.
Oh, so you think you get a little tired of him? Stop fucking singing and dancing in the fucking kitchen. Let's go.
Stop being so goddamn charming. Like, I want attention too. Like, I don't want to marry someone who's gonna constantly upstage me.
You know, you're making great points. So I'm not gonna lie.
When it comes to these fuck, marry, kills, I always have reasoning.
You really dive deep into the psyche of this. I love it.
Now the thing is like, out of Evans and Hemsworth, who do I want to marry? Because I feel like, you know what? I feel like this is a layup, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. We're going to marry Hemsworth.
I'm thinking Chris Evans be a little annoying to marry, I think.
And with his relationship history is a little...
Oh, no.
He was with Jenny Slate for all those years, fucking pieces her, and then gets like some freshly 18-year-old girl, like, and all of a sudden they're married in 15 minutes. Little weird. So Evans is going to get the kill. Hemsworth, I feel like, would be a doting partner, like someone who really tries to like go out of his way and make you feel special, especially, but not limited to, like, the anniversaries. Never going to forget an anniversary or your birthday or Valentine's Day. I just feel like Hemsworth is what all of us want. I feel like we all deserve a Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, I wouldn't marry Chris Evans because I think he'd be a little annoying sometimes. He's a little too political at times, and I'm not trying to deal with that all the time, honey. We relaxing here. Go fire off those tweets somewhere else, bro. Get out of here. So I think we're gonna marry Pine, kill Evans, fuck Thor. Gotta get that hammer.
Who would have thought Evans would have gotten the double kill here?
I can't believe it. I can't believe I never would have guessed it. Wow.
What a dramatic turn of events right here on the Card JoeMeZ podcast. This is the kind of content you subscribe for.
Yes, it is, baby. Hit him with them plugs. Let's get the hell out of here.
Everyone, thank you so much for listening to this show. Remember to hit that subscribe button wherever it is that you're getting it, whether that's in one of the podcast apps or on YouTube at youtube.com/@CardJoeMeZPod. Remember to leave us 5-star reviews, drop some comments on YouTube. Make sure to click that like button. It's very important and it helps us with our algorithm. And also follow us on all the possible social media at Card JoeMeZ. You can follow all my personal stuff over at The Joe Shoes all across social media. Of course, my food review videos at youtube.com/Joe Shoes, prowrestlingtees.com/Joe Shoes if you'd like to pick up a t-shirt and help support. And hopefully very, very soon, we will have an exciting announcement about a brand new project coming to your ear holes every other week. For now, although I know that a teaser has already been put out there by someone.
Bastards can't keep quiet. I'm the JoeMeZ154, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, all that fun stuff. Folks, I'm sorry I lied to you last week. I said I would stream Ron Burgundy. I promise Friday night we will stream Wake Up Ron Burgundy on twitch.tv/Mez Movie. Come and hang out and let's watch the good shit.
Also, remember to join our Facebook group. It is free to join, and that is where you can vote in the polls to decide which movies will move on to the next round in our March Madness sports movie bracket. Just search Card JoeMeZ Podcast on Facebook, and it'll come right up. Feel free to come in, hang out, talk about what's going on in the world of entertainment. Yeah. And everything else. We got a lot of food takes in there, and it's been a lot of fun interacting with you all. So do all that. It'll be a good time. We'll be back next week. We've got the baseball region, round 1 with Major League and Bull Durham. Major League is on HBO Max, Bull Durham on Amazon and Tubi, and round 2 of the basketball region, Hoosiers, the number 1 seed there on AMC Plus against first round winner Blue Chips, which is on Paramount Plus. So that's a lot to look forward to. But JoeMeZ, for now, we got to make like Tom and cruise.
Peace.